already.
Well, yeah.
Timer starting now.
I know, we actually remember the timer this time. I'm Noelle.
I'm Leslie.
And we are
Behind the Games.
So we are here for another episode in apparently the North Pole.
Yes, it's very, very, very cold. It started snowing and then it stopped.
And then it stops.
Yeah.
And then it snows.
Yeah.
It stops.
So how was your morning?
Oh, it was pretty shitty.
Yeah.
I have a pool that's 20 years old, and it's like I'm waiting to, like everybody else, waiting to save up money to slowly start repairing it.
Yours is just like ours.
Apparently my pool is like everybody's.
Yeah, this was original to the house in the 80s. So
mine was like built there, yeah. So there's a slow leak, and I can't fix it obviously right now money-wise. And so...
And it's Texas, and everything shifts and moves. And
everything shifts and moves. Yeah. But the pool still functions, the pool pump, everything. Even though it's 20 years old, it's been, every time I turn it on, it works.
It's like everything else, only when it gets cold, everything goes to hell.
That's the one. Yeah, that's the one thing I didn't count.
Like the AC never goes out in the winter; it always goes out in the summer. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, when it turned cold, this has not just been a normal cold for Texas. This has been, we're in the negatives. So basically, I've had to, oh my God, like yesterday, the water wasn't going into the pool, so the level was going down. And my pool has a breaker on it that if it gets to freezing, it turns the pool on, and you can't turn it off unless you completely trip, you trip the breaker, which is not good.
I just like that too.
So if you have no water and your pump is pumping,
it's gonna burn out.
So then I'm looking at.
Then you have to have it going because your pipes will freeze.
Right. Yeah. But I have like 5 water hoses. So I go to turn a water hose on.
I have 1 water hose.
Oh no, I'm one of those best. I prepare like a mother.
Do you do like landscaping and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no.
I do my own.
I can't.
But I have
like tchotchkes. I cannot do it. Can't.
I do. But I have 5 water hoses. All 5 are frozen. So I'm walking around my house, freezing cold, looking for a water hose that has no water in it.
Texting me the whole time.
Texting her the whole. Luckily, I found one on the side of the house.
Geez, oh, eek.
No, I'm freezing. I found one on the side of the house that I kept over there to water that side. And I was like, oh, thank God. Yeah. So then I have to go, and I can't turn the water on the faucet on. So then I have to get an extension cord in my blow dryer, plug it in,
my gosh,
string it out. I'm holding the blow dryer up to the faucet, waiting for it to
outside the cold.
Outside the cold. Before I can unscrew the one that's on there.
Couldn't you just do warm water?
No, because it was frozen up in it.
Oh.
So I'm holding the blow dryer on the threads.
Okay.
And mind you, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm just
winging
it.
Electrocuted.
Yeah. And I'm like,
I want to know what kind of blow dryer you have because that's a pretty strong one. No. Mine's like a little cheap, like
No, it's not cheap. I'll tell you what it is. So I finally got the thing, and I got the other one screwed on and turned it on. Then I had to, those the things you told me to go get that look like the noodles.
Yeah, it's like you wrap your pipes. So it's like a pool noodle that's cut in half.
Yeah, so I went to Lowe's and I got like 5 of those. So then I had to put that on the water hose, cover things in towels, turn the water hose on, make sure it's dripping. And then I look up, and the spa, the hot tub, is no longer flowing.
Oh my gosh.
But the waterfall is
frozen right now. Okay.
Yeah, the waterfall is, I got water going in, but then I'm like, oh crap, we have like a whole week apparently of this.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like, get down to like 0.
But I have to keep the water on and the pump on for a whole week. I'm thinking I'm going to
your water bill is going to be crazy.
I'm thinking I'm going to probably be funding the city of Allen with my money that I don't have. So that was fun. So yeah, I'm every morning now I'm waking up, looking out there, going, please be on, please be on, please be on, please be on.
See, we had the same problem with our pool, and we were told it had a slow leak, and they recommended that we turn it on to make it more electronic, like you have an app for it. But it's an old system. We had to update it to newer with an app.
Right.
Didn't do shit. We had all this money, and it's still the same. It's like, oh my God, we totally got duped.
Yeah.
But we have this app that sometimes locks us out, but we can look. It's just pointless.
I have a timer that...
Adulting is fun.
Adulting is fun. I have a timer that you should be able to set, and it will turn the pool on and off, right? So that you don't have to babysit the pool. Because to me, it's like I have an autistic child that I'm having to take care of. Yeah. And it won't work. No matter what I do, it won't work. So I have to manually turn it on and off. But for some strange reason, thank God, the breaker will work. So it will turn on at freezing and not turn off.
Right. Yeah, our house it's all original, and like sometimes the lights will turn on and off different times. There's like somehow some are on like timers and some aren't, and we have no idea how to fix it. Or
yeah,
so we're just like, oh, okay, I guess
there we go.
It's time.
Time for bed.
Yeah.
And it's crazy some of the stuff that I've had to, I have no idea how to do a lot of this stuff, and you know, like I'm like literally I was YouTubing how to change the string on a weed eater.
Is amazing.
Yeah.
Like there's no reason you have to call anybody, just YouTube it.
Well, no.
I mean, like,
say that.
let me preface this. I have a really big problem when somebody calls and they're like, hey, how do you do this? Or hey, where can I find that? Google or go to YouTube. Like, right now, everything is out of your fingertips. You can learn how to do anything. Like,
I will never
it takes you just as much time to call me, to ask me, and I don't have the time. Like, go find out for yourself.
See, I can't. Okay, me that'd be. I have to reevaluate our relationship then.
Yeah.
Because literally,
I just won't answer.
Or you'll go, oh geez.
I'm like, Google.
What makes you think I haven't Googled before I humbled myself to ask you? Like I have Googled.
Yeah.
No,
I'm not even talking about this situation. I'm talking about
in general.
We have a lot of some family members, and they're very codependent on other family members, and they'll call and ask about every little bitty thing, and it's like, to me, it's unnerving. Like,
yeah.
You're not helpless. Like, get on the computer and figure out some things, you know? Like, where in Target is this? It's like, I don't fucking know. Like, you think I had memorized a store? Like, you know? Yeah.
But you can get a store map.
Right. So I was not even talking about you. It's just one of my pet peeves with there's some family members that really bothers me.
There's a lot of people like that. I had to learn the hard way though, like after my late husband died.
Right.
And all of our friends kind of went, you know, and there was like things that I didn't know how to do, like especially house related stuff. And there was one person that was supposed to be
shit. Yeah. Nobody knows. Yeah.
Well, and there's this one person who's supposed to be like really good friends with both of us. And so they have a pool and everything, so I'm thinking, oh, okay. So literally after I looked everything up and I exhausted everything, and mind you, I know nothing, and I would text, I would get that answer, like Google it, and I'm like, motherfucker, do you think I didn't fucking Google? I mean, by that point, I'm like,
I guess I've never really thought about the other person's feelings. I'm just very abrasive, so I'm glad you're educating me. Because I'm very just like, what is wrong with you? So it makes, but I need to be a little bit nicer, so that makes.
Well, so do I, because at that point I'm looking for the baseball bat and their address. I will show you, Google. And then I have to go,
I guess it's more like people that call them mom and ask them for everything. It's like, I know some moms want to be needed, but
not me.
Like, there is a point where it's like, come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
My kids are all grown, but they'll tell you the same thing. Mom is set in her ways. You know how mom is. Sometimes, and I'm like, what do you mean you know how mom is?
So I'm such a like defiant person. Sometimes I will call my mom and ask her about things just so I can do the opposite.
Me too.
And she wasn't say, she's like, so you're gonna do the opposite. I'm like, yep. Thank you. You made the decision for me. I was going back and forth, and now I know what to do.
Well, see, the crazy thing was growing up, you know, I always, like, my mom, I could never really, like, my mom was unique, and we're so opposite, and I have always been, like, even as a little girl, very responsible, very, like, you know, figure things out, and my mom is the opposite. My mom is one of those ones that she wants everybody to figure it out for her. And so it was kind of like, it was very, but so I knew, like, not to ask her anything. Because I already knew I was going to do the opposite. So I'm just like, you go do you.
Yeah.
I'm going to go over here and fry my bologna.
See, my mom loves to tell me her opinion.
Isn't that funny?
I'm like, why? Why do you even tell me? Because I'm going to do the opposite now.
Yeah.
If you really wanted me to do that,
My kids will do that where my kids will do that where they'll start talking about stuff, and in my head, I'm going, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard of.
Right.
But out of my mouth has to be just an opinion.
Right.
And then doesn't matter how hard, they don't understand how hard this is, that I am just giving an opinion. They'll be like, why are you trying to parent me? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, if I was trying to parent you, I would have told you something completely different.
Right.
This is just my opinion. You cannot emotionally regurgitate all over me and expect me just to walk around.
We're not at that stage yet. Our kids are now at the stage where they know everything.
Well, your kids are little.
We don't know anything. And I have reverted into, I guess, my parents or older parents now. Whenever, like, I can't for the life of me say the Xbox or whatever, I always say the Nintendo. And they're like, what the hell is a Nintendo? I'm like, you know that thing, the game thing.
Pong.
Yeah.
Pong.
But they're so literal, you have to say, like, the exact whatever. I'm like, my brain is, like, struggling as it is. Like, I cannot remember all the electronics and everything.
So everybody out there, if you have kids that do the whole eye rolling.
Yes. I'm not rolling my eyes. I'm like, what do you call that?
Attitude.
Yes.
I don't have an attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not fair. Anybody who's ever had pets or kids or taking care of their parents, because the parents were or you please leave us comments, because we know that there's so many people out there that are going through exactly what we are talking about right now.
Yes.
It is a whole episode within itself, because we just started talking about my pool.
And it's gonna get even more.
And now we've gotten straight into kids.
I know. I don't know how you have 5 kids, like, and you're sane. So there's hope. There's hope for us all.
There's hope. Yeah, because my first 2 were very close together. Then there was a gap, and then the last 3 were a year and a half apart, and they were literally like having triplets that were not good. It was like I tell them all the time, they're lucky to still be alive. Some of the stories that I have of them, they're like, I don't remember that. I'm like, well, I do.
Right.
I'm not making that up. Nobody would make this up. Some of the stuff that they would, like, for instance, this is my favorite. Like, when we had a 2-story townhome, and I would go upstairs to clean, they would be watching Blue's Clues. So I'm thinking, I got about 10 minutes, I can go upstairs, clean the toilets, get everything done.
Girls or boys?
Boys.
Oh, well, you already gave it away.
I already gave it away. So I'm upstairs cleaning, it was quiet. So anybody who has kids know, as soon as it's quiet,
dangerous,
you go looking.
Yes.
So I come down the stairs, and there's no kids. So I walk to the front door's locked. And I'm thinking, where the hell did they go? I'm like looking underneath stuff, and I'm calling their name, and all of a sudden I hear giggling, but it's not giggling close by. And then the breeze, because I had the windows open, there's the breeze and it's blowing the curtain. So when it blew the curtain, I was able to see there's no screen. They had helped each other out.
Oh my God.
Climbed out the window and then took their clothes off and were running up and down the street.
Oh my gosh. How old were they?
Oh, I don't even remember. Old enough to not know better.
Oh my gosh.
The youngest was still like yeah. But I'm just like, oh my God. But I'm like, my neighbors probably think.
Right.
All I was doing was clean toilets. I swear to God, I was not taking a nap. I was not.
Yeah. We had that happen with our youngest, Olive. She was, I don't know, she's probably like 1.5, maybe 2. And we used to get this organic food service, and they would come at like 4:30 a.m. And I guess they came, I don't know. It was around Christmas time. I used to do CG, which is like the outdoor workout thing at 5 a.m. And I got home, and it was probably about 6. And I'm like, oh, Olive's still sleeping. And James like, yeah, she's still sleeping. We get a knock on the door, and it's a police officer. And he's like, and we had just moved in the neighborhood. And he goes, hey,
Wait, what was your face?
I was just like, I was looking at him. He was like, hey, do you know the little blonde girl? I was like, no. And my husband was like, could it be Olive? I'm like, I don't know. Like,
no, Olive is asleep.
I'm like, she's asleep. I haven't been home. I don't know. And he runs upstairs, and she wasn't there. So then I was like, I was like, oh my gosh. Went down. She was like a block down our neighborhood. She had walked out with her little like baby, walked down the street, she like rang somebody's doorbell. And they came to the door. She was like a nurse, and so she's like, yeah, this little girl is like, hi. And I go down there, she's on their couch eating Fruit Loops. And there's like 20 cops like circling around the neighborhood. And she was so young she couldn't say like her name or where she lived. So then I'm thinking, okay, great, CPS, I'm gonna get like taken away.
This is it.
All they said to me was, it happens all the time. I'm like, this happens all the time. And they're like, yeah. They're like, you need to get one of those locks on your door. So we get the baby lock for the inside of our door. But then we would get like packages, or people would come over, and I couldn't open my door. I would go, open it, and they're like, yeah, I'm on the other side, you open. I'm like, no, you don't understand, I can't open my door. Like, it's unlocked, you open this.
So you're gonna look like a retard either way.
Every way. So, yeah, that was fun. That was fun.
The things that kids do to make us look so bad.
Yeah, that was